Now that we know all the characters that will be in BlazBlue Cross Tag Battle, an arc hinting at a Season 2, combined with the producer wanting 2B to be in the game, I thought I would express my hopes for characters that I would like to see in the game, or characters that, given the way the system works, would make a lot of sense, just on a grander scale. From the BlazBlue side, first up I'm going to talk about Celica A. Mercury. Celica is constructed to be a consistently easy character for beginners due to the way her drive works. Plus, with her drive, she would be the first character aside from Yukiko from Persona that can heal outside of using her DP. Celica will most likely be a solid choice for the game too, given she already has a DP already. Her healing factor, and given the fact of how most of her normals work, also in CF, are also another good thing that bolster my hope to see how she would actually play if she actually made it into the game. What would also be interesting to see if she did make it into game would be how her blue health works. For those who don't know, Celica builds blue health when she's using her drive if she's already taken damage. This health can be used to either regain her health or it can be used to strengthen and bolster her specials. The next character from BlazBlue I would like to see would be Mu 12. Again, another solid character that would add a bit of more diversity to the roster. Mu would be an interesting choice to see how her Steins would function. This to see if her Steins would work like Weiss's glyphs, where if she's tagged out they would disappear, or rather, would they work similar to Carmine's blood, where the blood doesn't disappear on tag and actually has benefits to her assists. Also on Mu's moves, she would also be another character with a deceptive overhead. This being based off the BlazBlue cast members' crashes or their crush triggers. Given that Mu's crush trigger would come from below, for those uninitiated, it would actually look like a low. The last person I could potentially see from the BlazBlue side would be Hibiki Kohaku. Hibiki, like Celica, is another beginner-friendly character who has a lot of movements that would blend well with the current roster. The problem, however, is his drive. As Hibiki's drive revolves around throwing shadows out, I'm curious to see how that would actually function and work. I could see his drive working similar to a mixture of Hazama and Makoto, whereas Hazama has to constantly throw out chains to get from place to place. I'm not saying that it couldn't be done, I'm merely saying that I think a tad of extra thought would have to go into it to make it work properly. Starting out with the Persona side is Teddy. Teddy is, well, Teddy. He should have been in the game to begin with. I don't think I have to explain this one to anyone.
Red! Is Teddy the king? We're already doomed from the get-go. I, the king, command thee to smooch the king without delay. Smooch!
Smooch?
Please, God, grant me a girl. Number 3! Ah! I'm at number 2! No takebacks!
Smooch! Smooch!
Oh, Kaji! So you were after my fuzzy fur! Okay, but it's my first time. Be gentle.
Whoa! Ow! Hey, quit that! Don't make me flatten you, damn it! Ah! No! Hey! Help!
The next Persona character, you know, I don't like edgelords at all, but I must say Adachi should make the cut. Adachi has a full screen beam that allows him to keep moving while the move is still active. This allows him to run behind the move and hide his movements so that way he can get mix-ups on his own. I would honestly hope that if Arc did put him in, they would make this beam cost some meter. Also, Adachi has moves that buff him through the use of his supers that make him stronger in certain aspects, so this would also go as far to make him a good addition to the game as well. And last but not least, for the Persona size is Elizabeth. Elizabeth has a great moveset that I feel would be an amazing addition to the current roster, but instead of focusing on her moveset, I'm going to focus more on what made Elizabeth special in the Persona Arena games, and there are 3 things that made her special to play.
3 of them things?
The first being her passive ability to constantly build meter. This would mean that Elizabeth would constantly have access to push blocking, which would be amazing for her playstyle, which is that of a punishment and pseudo zoner type playstyle. The next ability that Elizabeth has is that, like Naoto, she has access to 2 instant kill moves. The difference between the 2 characters though is that Elizabeth's moves are a lot slower and require a lot more startup to them, which require a lot more elaborate setups to actually pull off. The upside though is that she doesn't have a fate counter that she actually has to get to make it to where the instant kill will actually happen. The final ability that Elizabeth has is the ability to afflict her opponents with all type of status ailments. She's one of, if not the only Persona characters that can inflict stun, poison, charm, fear, and confusion. I'm not going to talk about negative penalty, as there is no negative penalty in this game. There is no real reason to speak on it. All of these status ailments will make Elizabeth a terror because this adds more for the opponent to worry about. It goes beyond just how much damage did she hit you with to what did she hit you with as well. Moving on to the Under Night side, the first character I would like to see would be Hilda. My justification for this is merely just 2 things: lack of zoners and lack of antagonists. That's really it. Next up would be Seth. Like Weiss and Aurier, it would be awesome to see 2 characters that aren't the faces of their respective titles stand next to each other, especially if they have synergy enough to work together as a team. A team based off speed? Yeah, that would be pretty fun to watch at a major, all those really flashy mix-ups. Now this last slot I didn't struggle with, not at all. This, however, is merely a wish, because I want phone on it. Her range would be a good asset to have against characters that can be outright oppressive without putting themselves in harm's way. Looking at you, Blake. I mean, come on, 3C as 2C? Who wouldn't like that? That's too good. Not only that, but being able to backbeat a full screen 2C into an appropriate response if the opponent's trying to get close would be amazing. That's all I've got for now in terms of characters I think would make great additions to the game. For those who may have asked why I didn't mention Nanase, simple. She should have been in the game to begin with. I mean, she's basically a Shoto character. But that's all I've got this time. Thanks for watching. Feel free to comment, like, and subscribe.
Wake up, get